Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in. So I'm just going to take a minute, if you bear with me, to have a look. Wonderful. So we've got, of course, lots of people from Madrid, where I'm speaking to you from. I know we've got the US. We have Paris, other areas of Spain. So I'm really looking forward to spending this time with all of you this evening. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. These are obviously incredibly stressful and unprecedented times. So the first thing that I want to say to everyone is that I sincerely hope that you and all of your loved ones are safe and healthy, and that you are coping well under these unprecedented circumstances. And I hope that some of what you learned this evening is really going to help you to do that even better. And I want to commend you, because it is a wonderful thing to be able, in the midst of all of this, to really be forward thinking and taking the time, as we are forced to hit the pause and reset buttons on our outer lives. You've made the decision this evening to hit the pause and reset button on your mindset. That is what we are going to be doing, and I absolutely commend you for that. It is actually the ideal time to be doing this, because we really need our strength, our resiliency. We need that success mindset in these challenging times. So you really are in a good place for working on this evening. That is what we are going to be doing together over the next 2 hours, probably 2 hours and 15 minutes to be realistic, where we are going to look inside and we are going to be spring cleaning our mindsets for that greater strength, resiliency, and success within this new reality as it unfolds for all of us. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Barbara Scalera, the Success Hypno Coach. And I've spent the last decade becoming certified to the highest level of master practitioner by the leading experts in the fastest, most powerful, and effective mindset transformation techniques from around the world. And I now have the wonderful privilege of working with individuals and groups online to rapidly, using powerful hypnosis like Marissa Peer's Rapid Transformational Therapy and other NLP and coaching techniques, hone in on what those deep-rooted subconscious blocks are that are holding these people back from their desired success in either their professional or personal lives. And once we've identified those, we are working to rapidly remove them, those negative beliefs, doubts, and fears holding them back, and replace them with the empowered mindset, the confidence, the self-belief, the motivation to then take the actions that they need to take in order to create the success that they want. And I have the privilege of working with them all along the way, from first creating that success mindset to then working on implementing the practical action plans so that they are able to create and receive that success as quickly as possible. And I'd like you to experience some of this evening. Because, in this time of great uncertainty and change, it is the entrepreneurs, professionals, business owners that are going to be able to quickly adapt and succeed to this new reality. And just the people in general who will be the ones that can bounce back are the ones that have the right empowered mindset. And specifically the ones whose subconscious mind and conscious mind are in alignment together and in alignment with their goals. Otherwise, you can have the perfect idea for how to capitalize on this new reality. You can have the perfect plan on how you're going to pivot your business to adapt. You can have the most inspiring vision for how you're going to change your life going forward. But if your subconscious mind isn't on board with those plans, then it's either going to convince you to try and not even go for any of this because it's going to turn up the fear, the imposter syndrome, the self-doubt, or it's going to mire you in procrastination and brain fog to try and stop you and keep you in that uncomfortable comfort zone. Or if you manage to get that success, it's then going to try and sabotage it through causing you to make poor decisions such as over borrowing or overspending or partnering with the wrong person or playing small. There are a million ways that your subconscious can sabotage your success. And why would it do this? Well, we're going to learn tonight that actually buried within our subconscious is very often negative beliefs, fears, and doubts that are actually natural byproducts of the way our minds develop as we mature. So it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with us. It actually means that there's something right with us and that our brains are working in the way they're meant to. But unfortunately, it does hold us back when buried in our subconscious. There are negative beliefs, fears, or doubts that cause your subconscious to believe that something about the success you're striving for either isn't safe for you, or it's not going to bring you pleasure, or your subconscious feels you don't deserve it, or that it's not available to you. And this is what we'll be looking at over the next 2 hours, is to understand really what the subconscious is, how and why we acquire these subconscious blocks that are these negative beliefs, fears, and doubts, and how the subconscious then forces us to live according to this false belief system. And most importantly, and the reason I hope you're all here, is we're going to learn what we can do about it, how we can change it, because it absolutely is possible to do. So we're actually going to become our own spring cleaning crews, if you will. I know some of you who have cleaners are probably really missing them at the moment, right? Among many other things that we're missing. So we're going to become our own spring cleaning crews. We are going to be looking inward, looking for those cobwebs in our subconscious that are holding us back. And we're going to be working on clearing them out, removing them, replacing them with the empowered, resilient success mindset with which we then can not only survive, but still thrive in these very challenging times. Okay, so I am going to just make me a little smaller and make the PowerPoint a bit larger for you, if that's going to work. There we go. All right. And we are going to go ahead and jump right in. Very good. So we're going to be talking about understanding what the rules of the subconscious mind are and what the subconscious mind is, And why this is so important, because if you have areas of your professional or personal life where you feel like you're always striving but never arriving at your ideal level of success, then knowing these rules of the mind and how to work with them is first and foremost going to explain to finally, make you understand why you are where you are, why you feel stuck or seem like you can't go forward or always end up in that loop of kind of boom and bust of getting there, but then not being able to sustain it. And it's going to change everything about your ability to achieve what you want in your career and your life and actually sustain that success. And it's really not as complicated as you think it may be. So I want you to picture your mind, and I deliberately didn't put visuals into this PowerPoint. So just so you know, the PowerPoint's going to just be boring text, because I really want you to be using your own visualization, because that's what really works with the subconscious. So you can think of your mind like an iceberg. And the little part that is above the surface of the water that you are consciously aware of, you can think of as your conscious mind. So the thoughts you're aware of during the day, your analytical thinking, your logic, your willpower, all come from the conscious mind. But believe it or not, our conscious mind actually only controls 5% of our thoughts and actions. It's the large mountain of ice beneath the surface of the water, what we can't really see or touch, which is our subconscious mind, that is actually large and in charge, because our subconscious controls 95% of our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, and it controls our perceptions. So as we are receiving through our five senses the information of what's happening around us, it's our subconscious that is then shaping that information into how we receive and perceive it. So, you may have heard, you may already believe that you create your own reality, or you may have heard that and not understand how that can be true. Well, this is how it's true, because it's your subconscious mind that is actually creating your perception of the reality around you, and that will be very different from everyone else's perception of your reality. Okay. There we are. So that's the first rule of the mind. So subconscious, 95%, conscious mind, 5%. Now, believe it or not, your subconscious mind and the rule book it lives your life by was written by you between the ages of 0 to just 9, maximum 11 years old. And that is because, and those of you who have kids will absolutely know this, that, during that time period, we are like absolute sponges. We are learning at an amazing rate. And we're designed to be that way, learning from our own experiences that we're having at that time, and also from what we are observing and being taught by those around us, because it's essential to our survival. It is essential to our survival that we learn through just 1 or 2 experiences that hot things burn, or sharp things can hurt us, or it's not fun to fall from a great distance. We need oxygen to breathe. We need to learn all of this very quickly. And so that is what we're designed to do at this age. And we are writing those rules as we learn them right into the rule book of our subconscious mind. This is how and when our subconscious mind is being formed. Now, the problem is that we treat everything that we're learning at this time as an absolute truth. So if, for example, at school, you got chosen by a teacher and you didn't know the answer, you said the wrong thing, and you got laughed at or ridiculed or picked on for it, you may write into your subconscious rule book, if you were mortified enough or if you were hurt by that experience, just from that one experience, you could be writing into your rule book, it's not safe to stand out or speak out. And you're doing it in the same bold, permanent marker with which you wrote in, I need oxygen to breathe, or fire can burn me. And when you heard just a few times, why can't you be more like your sister or brother? Just as an example, right? So you hear that a few times and you write into your subconscious rule book, I'm not good enough, in the same capital letters, and then you underline it. Every time you are continued to be compared to that perhaps older sibling that is in fact always going to do things a bit better than you because they're older and they're more capable and have grown more than you have. But this is the decision you're making based on that experience, and you're writing it into your subconscious rule book as one of the truths about you. And so this is what happens. As children, we learn what we live through our own experiences, through what we're taught and what we observe from those around us. And then we write that into our subconscious rule book. And for the rest of our adult lives, most of us unconsciously live what we learned at that time. So another way to say this is that as children, we form our beliefs and then write them into that rule book. And as adults, our beliefs form our reality. Because again, your subconscious is not just controlling your thoughts, feelings, and actions within the reality, it's actually forming your perception of that reality as well. So if, for example, prior to lockdown, you didn't have the success you wanted in your business or your personal life, or if COVID-19 is the catalyst for yet another bust in an ongoing, all too familiar pattern for you that you seem to be stuck in of boom and bust. You get the success you want, something happens, it all falls apart. Then you build it up again, it falls apart again. And this could be in any area of your life, with your relationships, with your business, with your bank accounts. So if you have that sort of boom and bust pattern, or if you find yourself in a constant state of anxiety or overwhelm regarding how you or your business are going to survive this crisis, and of course, these are things we're all worried about, but you may notice other people are reacting with different levels of anxiety. Some seem more calm, grounded, resilient, and some of you may be in just an absolute state of panic. And the difference and what is most likely happening if you have been striving for a long time for that success and not getting it, or if you're in that pattern of boom and bust, or if this particular situation is just a massive trigger for you, then it is probably because you created or learned beliefs. Let me just get this up on the PowerPoint. There we go. You created or learned beliefs or fears or doubts as a child that you wrote into that subconscious rule book that are making your subconscious think that the success you want to create and sustain either isn't safe for you, or it's going to cause you pain, or your subconscious thinks for some reason you don't deserve it, or it doesn't believe it's available to you, all based on that belief system that you wrote into it as a child. So if over that prolonged period of time, you've been striving but not arriving at that success, it's something about either having that success, or it's something about the actions you would have to take in order to create that success that conflicts with that rule book that you wrote into your subconscious between the ages of 0 to 9, 10, 11. Now, that is a big statement to put out there, and it may be hard to get your head around, or it may sound like a lot of conjecture to you. So I'm going to give you a few concrete personal examples that are just very good illustrations of how this happens, right? I'm just going to take a minute and just check on the chat here, make sure we're all okay. Everyone's still hearing me, seeing me. Okay, we some video issues, but it looks like we're okay now. Wonderful. Now, I tend to use personal examples rather than client examples because I have some clients on this call. I tend to have clients who will watch the recordings afterwards, and no one likes to hear their own story. So that's why these are personal examples, but they illustrate exactly how this works. So when my mom was a little girl and she started school, she happened to be a bit wealthier than the other little Italian Catholic girls that she started school with, because it just so happened that at that time in the US, most of the Italian immigrants that had come over were on the poorer side. They weren't necessarily skilled. They, of course, didn't know the language. So they were starting in manual labor jobs that didn't pay as much. Whereas my grandfather happened to be a professor before he came over. He did speak the language, so he was able to come in at a very different position. So when my mom started school, she dressed differently than the other little girls did. She spoke differently than they did. She lived in a different neighborhood than they did. And as children often do, they quickly singled her out as being different, and they ostracized her, they bullied her, they made fun of her. And so my mother learned through her own experience during the time she was creating her subconscious rule book of life that having money can mean that you are isolated, alone, hurt. And then she would go home to her neighborhood to play with the kids there. And she told me stories of sometimes actually being made to wait out on the front porches because some of the parents thought she wasn't good enough to actually set foot in their homes. And that's just the way it was at that particular time on the East Coast of the US. But what is she then adding into her subconscious rule book? Not only can having money hurt you and make you lonely, but that the people that have it are not necessarily nice people, right? So this is what she is learning from those negative experiences that for a small child will be quite traumatic. Fast forward now, almost 90 years later, and I am walking arm in arm with my mom. We're going to a restaurant, going out with my sister and some cousins for a nice ladies' lunch. And she asked me if I heard in the news about the man who had just won all those millions in the lottery. And I said, no, Mom, a New Jersey man winning the lottery really doesn't make the European news. There's a lot going on. And she stopped walking. She looked at me and she said, can you imagine how his life is going to be completely ruined? And she proceeded to walk up the stairs into the restaurant. And I just stood there for a moment. She, of course, did not realize the irony of what she had just said to her daughter, the wealth and success coach, right? But there it was, her belief system that she wrote into her subconscious rule book as that 5-6-year-old little girl coming out as an 80-something-year-old woman, where she is perceiving that lottery win, having all those millions coming into someone's life, as an awful thing that's going to make him miserable. And while I was home over Christmas, I could hear her saying things, that's too expensive. We're not those people. That's how the other half live. We're on a fixed income. We need to be careful. And the truth of the matter is that, knock on wood, my parents still doing amazing in their 90s, and they have plenty of money to live a very comfortable lifestyle. She could absolutely afford those things she was saying that she couldn't or shouldn't have. But that's because for her, it is essential to think that she can't have it, because she needs to think she doesn't have those excess funds, because that would then put her in the position of being one of those people and having that money that is going to lead to being lonely or isolated or hurt. Now, next comes the next generation, right? So here I come along, and luckily I did not have anything like my mother's experience when I went to school. By that time, we absolutely were quite the melting pot. I went to a public school where we were mixed everything, mixed race, mixed religion, mixed economic backgrounds, and it was all fine. So I didn't have that experience of anything negative from having more money than anyone else, or from not having as much money as someone else. But who is one of the most influential voices in my life during those crucial years? Of course, it's my mother. And so what am I overhearing her saying to other people, or sometimes saying to me, are those typical things, we have to be careful. Your father has to work so hard for the money. It needs to stretch so much, etc. And so that is going into my subconscious rule book by osmosis, right? This is what I am absorbing and writing in, because it's what I'm learning from those that are influential around me. Fast forward 30 years for me. And I am at the height of my previous career as a communications expert in the wine industry. And from the outside, it all looks wonderfully glamorous. So I'm always flying off on the company jet to organize the next glamorous event. I have massive campaign budgets to spend. I'm working with celebrities, sponsoring the A-list parties. I'm making a multiple 6-figure salary, big bonuses. All sounds fantastic. But of course, behind the scenes, I am actually quite miserable. Why is that? Because I am working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, pulling all-nighters before every event, never seeing my husband or family. And why am I doing this? Well, really, I'm doing this because I'm not living by my subconscious rule book. In fact, I am breaking another big rule. Oops, I'm back here. There we are, which is I am not staying loyal to my tribe. So we are still hardwired as if we are tribal beings. Our brains have not evolved that much over time. So one of our deepest survival instincts, one of the rules of the subconscious mind, is to try and keep you loyal to your tribe. Because of course, loyalty to your tribe for our ancestors meant survival. You got kicked out of your tribe and you were almost assured a quick death. Okay, so our brains are hardwired to remain loyal to our tribe, and my mother taught me that our tribe didn't have excess money. That led to unhappiness, isolation, rejection. But there I was with this great job, earning what for me was a lot of money, and living what she would certainly say was a glamorous life and a life of, those people that weren't our people. So what happens? Well, my subconscious kicks in and it makes me start working every waking, breathing moment. So that what happens, it absolutely does become a struggle. And I do stop spending time with the people I love. And therefore, I do become isolated and alone effectively because of the money. So my subconscious makes me learn what I lived or what I learned and what my mother lived as a child. It makes me loyal to my tribe and reliving that experience until 3 years on, I, of course, reached total burnout and I quit. And my subconscious says, okay, sabotage complete. We have triumphed. We've got her back into what we feel is actually safe for her according to that rule book. So that are 2 examples of how we learn what we live and then we live what we learn. We form our beliefs and then our beliefs form us and our reality. And of course, there are exceptions. And I know you'll be thinking, but there's so many self-made people who absolutely do not live according to the rules of their tribe. And yes, as you work on your mindset and different things may have happened, also, if you didn't find some of these experiences traumatic, you may have not written them in that indelible ink into your rule book. So it's not that this happens for everyone, but it happens for a great deal of people. And it's really important to look at, because what's interesting is that for a lot of people, when they do absolutely push through and start living in a very different way than their tribe, but that's when that boom and bust pattern happens, because you get the success, you live it, but your subconscious isn't happy with it and then causes you to sabotage it. And then you go back round and round again. Or you have that success in one area of your life. So, it could be that you have a great deal more wealth and success in business than anyone in your tribe did, but then people often completely punish themselves in another area, such as personal relationships. And that's where the subconscious will kind of make up the difference. So it's looking at the patterns and seeing what you might perhaps recognize in your own life. And had you pointed this out to me at the time, I would have told you were crazy. So when I was living that New York PR exec lifestyle, I would have done what most people do, which is to justify the circumstances as outside of ourselves and beyond our control. So I would have told you that it was, the company, they're just a bunch of slave drivers, or that's just the New York way of working, or that's what's expected in the wine industry, or this is always the life of a PR executive. I would never have acknowledged that I was actually creating this reality for myself. But that is, in fact, what was happening. I was the one who wasn't delegating more work to my wonderful team than I had. I was the one who wasn't setting enough boundaries with my company in terms of how much time and effort I would give them. I wasn't insisting on growing my team in relation to how my brand portfolio was growing. And these were all decisions that were subconsciously being led through sabotage, because my subconscious mind didn't want this to all work out for me, because it was going against what was written into that subconscious rule book. So let me give you a few more examples that I see quite often with my clients. If as a child you learned it wasn't safe for you to speak out, stand out, show the world who you really were, or really express your voice and opinion, because when you did so as a child or young adult, maybe you got laughed at, you got in trouble, you got bullied, you got a lot of unwanted attention. And so your subconscious said, okay, this felt awful. What happened? You were noticed. You drew attention to yourself, and clearly that's not safe for us. And so what do? You write a vow of invisibility into your subconscious rule book. You say, we're not going to do that again. We are not going to put our head above the parapet. We're not going to shine our light as bright as it can be, because that brings unwanted attention or ridicule or hurt or whatever that was. And so that, of course, comes into direct conflict with your goals. If, for example, you are trying to do numerous Facebook Lives right now, or before COVID-19, you were looking to speak to big audiences, you were looking to really very visibly promote yourself, do the blogs, etc., because all of that is putting yourself out there, and that will be in direct conflict with what your subconscious believes is safe for you if you have that vow of invisibility written into it. Similarly, some of you may have been brought up with a vow of humility. So you learned that the values of your tribe were all about being understated. You were taught as a child that children should be seen and not heard, or vanity goeth before a fall, pride goeth before a fall, nobody likes a braggart, don't toot your own horn, don't be so American. I've had clients who were told that as kids, right? Or if you were surrounded by humor, that was always very self-deprecating. These are all ways that you can learn that the rules of your tribe are that you do not big yourself up. You do not really promote yourself to the absolute, largest level of how you could describe your gifts, your abilities, your accomplishments. And again, that's then going to conflict with self-promotion. If you want to advertise your true worth, charge your true worth, because that's not being humble, right? That's not that vow of humility. That's not living by those values of our tribe. If as a child you learned or decided that you had to be perfect to be loved, because of course children are completely egocentric. At the age in which we're creating our subconscious rule book, we think everything is because of us. So many children will decide, if I'm just perfect, maybe mommy and daddy will stop fighting, or they won't get divorced, or one of them won't leave. Or you may have been constantly compared to a sibling unfavorably. Or you may in fact have been the sibling that was always put on the pedestal as the one that did always accomplish and achieve. And either way, you could have learned from those experiences. You could have made the decision as that child, oh, I have to be perfect to be loved. And people get really attached to their vow of perfection, but a vow of excellence is good. A vow of perfection will keep you dragging your feet and never accomplishing everything you can accomplish, because you're always procrastinating and holding back because whatever it is you're trying to achieve isn't perfect yet. If you learned as a child that unfortunately the adults that were supposed to be there for you, either physically or mentally, to take care of your physical and emotional needs were not there, and you learned that you had to go it alone, you could only rely on yourself, then you may have written a vow of independence into your subconscious rule book. And so you will be one of these people that says, I don't rely on anyone else, I just rely on myself. And my success or failure is mine alone. I won't bring anyone down with me. I don't ask for help and support, etc. Right? If you want something done, do it yourself. And again, people can be very attached to their vow of independence, thinking that it's a good thing because if you don't rely on anyone else, you'll never be disappointed. The problem with that vow of independence, the reason it will hold you back from the success you want, is of course because we are not islands. We cannot grow our businesses on our own. We cannot, we have to be able to delegate, to outsource, to partner. And in our personal lives, we need to be able to ask for support and to connect with others and to be vulnerable. And that vow of independence will absolutely hold us back. And you end up being closed not only to support from other people, but to receiving from them in the form of praise and in the form of wealth and success. So this, I'm sure, is all sounding quite fatalistic and really isn't making you feel any better in this already challenging situation, right? So I'm saying that you're powerless against your subconscious because your subconscious controls 95% of your thoughts, feelings, and actions, and your subconscious is ruled by your childhood beliefs, fears, and doubts, and your goals conflict with your subconscious vows and the rules of your tribe, so you're destined to never have that success. And that can be true, unfortunately, if you don't know how to spring clean your subconscious mind, how to identify what those negative beliefs, fears, and doubts are that you wrote into that rule book and remove them. So would you like to know how to do that? In order to do that, we need to look at the next rules of the subconscious mind. Okay, so these next rules are the key rules because once you know them and know how to use them, this really is what can change everything. So first of all, it is the job of your subconscious mind to, of course, keep you surviving, but it wants you moving towards pleasure and away from pain. Now, that again goes back to our ancestors because things that were painful at that time probably would kill you, and most things that were pleasurable would not. So it wants you moving towards pleasure and away from pain. And you communicate to your subconscious differently than you communicate to your conscious mind. So your conscious mind, you can say things, see things, hear things, learn things from just one time, one experience, and your conscious mind will get it and can act upon it. But to communicate with your subconscious mind, you need repetition. But it's repetition of just two things. So your subconscious mind, you can communicate with it through just two things, which are the pictures you make in your head and the words you say, both in your head and out loud. Now, this is actually wonderful news. Because what it means is that your subconscious is not being influenced by outside factors. It's only being influenced by your reaction to them through the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself and out loud to others. And these two things are things that you can largely take control over. And we don't take control over them, but we do have the ability to do it. And once we do, it can change everything because it puts you back in the driver's seat of your subconscious instead of your subconscious driving you. So we're going to talk about how we do that in a moment. But I want you to just know this next subconscious rule as well, which is that the subconscious mind loves what is familiar and distrusts what is unfamiliar. And again, right back to that tribal existence. So anything that looked like something you could eat but was unfamiliar, any animal that was unfamiliar, any person that wasn't in your tribe that you didn't recognize, could all easily kill you. So unfamiliar is bad and familiar is good. And this is how we get stuck in our uncomfortable comfort zones, because even if you are in an unfulfilling career, an unhappy marriage, an unhealthy lifestyle, that is what is familiar to you and what the subconscious therefore thinks is safe compared to the completely unknown path that you would have to take to change that. Okay. So how do we use these rules in order to actually communicate with our subconscious mind, rewrite that rule book, and get it on board with our goals? Well, what you do first and foremost is to create extremely positive images about what you want to achieve or obtain. And then surround yourself with these images so that you focus on them multiple times per day. So I know some of you will have done vision boarding in the past, but you don't want to just put up a picture and stick it near your closet and then that's it. You want to absolutely surround yourself. So I want your screensavers having those really positive, uplifting images, and on your phone, and on the refrigerator, and on the mirror, and on the closet. So for example, if your goal is to stay healthy in the midst of this global pandemic, then you are imagining in your head you being strong, resilient, healthy, and you're using real photos of yourself looking healthy and resilient, maybe doing something you love or with people you love or in beautiful settings. And you are surrounding yourself with these images so that everywhere you look multiple times per day, and it's particularly easy now if you are staying home, right? You don't have to worry about what people in the office are saying if you've got these photos everywhere. So you surround yourself with the images of who you want to be, how you want to be, because then you're bombarding your subconscious with the way of communication it understands of this is who we are, this is what we want, this is what you are creating for us. And along with those images, you are also doing the word repetition, right? Because it's the two things. It's the images in your head and the words. So what I want you to do is create positive statements, but I want them to be in the form of questions about what you want to achieve or obtain. So yes, I know affirmations are usually positive statements, but I actually want you to use questions, because by using positive questions, it bypasses the conscious objections more easily. Okay, so what I mean by this? Well, for example, if that goal is to stay healthy, then you are asking yourself, why am I so vibrantly healthy, strong, energized, and resilient? Right? That's an example. I have some more up there on the PowerPoint. So how am I so easily doubling my turnover in these challenging times? And one of the good things to do is whatever your main logical objection is to having what it is you want, incorporate it into the question. So I'm not saying, how am I in the most amazing shape of my life? I'm saying, how am I in the most amazing shape of my life when I can't even go to the gym? Because that incorporates the objection that would otherwise immediately come up from my conscious mind. And by presenting your subconscious with questions, it automatically starts searching for the answer. And because you are using language that is emotional, positive, and in the present tense, as if this is happening for you now, your subconscious then looks to implement whatever it's finding as the solution to that question to make it true for you, because that's what you're constantly telling it is your reality that you want. Okay, so positive images, positive questions over and over again. And you are eliminating all negative talk to the contrary. And I know, especially now, this is not easy to do, right? It is so easy to get wrapped up in all the negative talk that's going on with this very challenging situation. But if your goal is to succeed in business despite these challenging times, then you are not talking about how bad it is out there, how funding has just dried up, how consumers aren't spending, how this is going to be the worst recession ever. Because if that's what you're doing, you may have started the day by saying your positive question and looking at it written on your mirror. But then if throughout the day, in your conversations with other people, you're dwelling on the negative, then you absolutely are not communicating with your subconscious to make this positive goal happen for you. Okay, and the same thing, for example, if your goal is about health, getting in shape, then you're not saying, oh, this is the perfect excuse to just sit on the sofa and eat junk, etc. So you have to be disciplined. You have to eliminate that negative talk, and you may have to separate yourself or limit the conversations with those people who are insisting on dwelling on the negative. And of course, there are a lot of those people at the moment. You also link immense pleasure to what you want to achieve and pain to what you no longer want or to not getting what you want. And you specifically link the pleasure to the actions you need to take in order to have that success, because it's the actions you want to think of as pleasurable. So what does that mean? I have some examples there on the PowerPoint slide. I love working out at home because I can finally dance like nobody's watching. Or I love the challenge of pitching to investors in this climate because I know the ones that are going to be interested in still talking to me are actually strong recession-proof investors, or they wouldn't even be looking at my proposal. So you are finding whatever that positive is, and you are dwelling on it and looking at it as a pleasurable experience, those actions that you need to take. And you are making those actions familiar. So this is absolutely where you bring the conscious mind in, because this does take discipline. It does take willpower in the beginning to be creating these new habits of taking whatever those actions are. And they may be having to call clients every day to tell them that you are keeping your prices the same, or they do still owe you that money, or whatever that is. And you have to find, what's the pleasure in that? Well, it means, for example, that you are going to end up with a very loyal client base of the ones that stay with you, or a financially secure client base, or whatever that positive is. And you are disciplined in taking those actions every day until they become what's familiar. Why? Because your subconscious loves what's familiar. And most of all, and this is what I have to constantly harp on with my clients the most, which is, it's so funny because this is the feel-good factor, and yet this is what we do not do. And that is to celebrate your success all along the journey, not just at the final destination. Because if your subconscious is hardwired to move you towards pleasure and away from pain, and you look at your goal as being at the top of this, incredibly high mountain, and you look at that climb as being arduous and painful, then your subconscious is not going to be on board with helping you make that climb. But if you celebrate every baby step, every action you take, then your subconscious mind is going to say, oh, this is a pleasurable journey. I'm absolutely going to get on board and be more supportive and provide the energy and provide the mindset, provide the clarity you need to get this, because this feels good as we are creating it. And what do we do instead? We beat ourselves up all along the way, right? For not getting there faster, for not having the number of people we wanted on those Facebook Lives, or for not having, that investor that we really wanted coming through and initially saying, yes, they're going to give us the funding, or, not when we get on that scale and yes, we've lost some weight, but we haven't lost as much as we wanted. And we just beat ourselves up, and that says pain to our subconscious. And then our subconscious says, oh no, I'm going to sabotage this effort before it even begins. So it's all about celebrating your success. And it doesn't have to mean spending money, but it's doing something specifically because you took whatever that action was. So something you wouldn't do for yourself otherwise, and something you find really pleasurable. And it can be as simple as, for those of you that are allowed to at the moment, going out for a walk, or listening to some music you love, or making the phone call to somebody makes you feel good. Or it can be spending money on yourself. But there are so many ways we can find to reward our success all along the way. And it is worth actually brainstorming what those are so that you have that list ready. And yes, in the beginning, doing this, asking the positive questions, telling yourself that, you love making those phone calls to collect money from the clients, or to change your eating habits, or to get up early and start that workout. It does feel like you're lying to yourself in the beginning. Do it anyway, over and over again, because your subconscious believes what you show it and say to it over and over again. And faster than you ever thought possible, it will become true for you. You will start to love taking those actions. You will start to see that success manifesting for you, and you will feel differently about it. But you do need the self-discipline. And if you do have those, big, bold, black statements in that subconscious rule book that it absolutely is not safe for you to stand out or speak out, or that, that kind of success is not available to people like us, or whatever that is, then you really do have your work cut out for you to override that. Okay, because it's been there your whole life up until now. The good news is that there is a shortcut. There is a highly effective tool that can shortcut this whole process and quickly get to the root cause of that resistance remove it and replace those old negative beliefs, fears, doubts with that empowered mindset you want. And that is the tool of hypnosis. And this is a tool that's highly effective, not just for those of you that have, big subconscious blocks to overcome based on things that happened in your childhood, but for any of you that want to really shortcut the process, have it all happen far more rapidly and easily, and really bring your subconscious in line and 100% in support of your goals and dedicated to creating that reality you want in your professional or your personal life. So would you like to have a little taste of what that hypnosis is like now? Now, I know for some of you that word hypnosis just freaks you out, right? Okay, so I promise you, this is not scary. You are not going to be totally out of it. You're not going to be out of control. I cannot make you into a chicken. You are not going to go someplace you can't come back from. This, it's none of that stuff you've seen on TV. This is just an eyes closed, relaxed, guided visualization. And you can even keep your eyes open if you feel more comfortable doing that this first time round. And of course, this is probably not the ideal atmosphere for doing hypnosis. When I work, one-on-one with people, I make sure that they are in a quiet room, undisturbed, on their own, and you may have kids running around in the background or whatever else may going on. So just look at it as a taster of what the experience can be. Okay. The slightly challenging part of this, however, that I do absolutely have to warn you about is that in order to discover any blocks to your goals that you have in your subconscious mind, we are going to have to briefly look back at a few of the more unpleasant memories from your childhood. Okay, so if any of you have severe trauma in your childhood that you're not sure you can handle looking back on, particularly wherever you are at the moment, or if you have a pre-existing medical or mental health condition, or if you just know this is not something that in this particular moment, at this particularly challenging time that you want to do, that's absolutely fine. I will let you know in a few minutes when you can mute the sound of the actual regression part of the hypnosis. And then I will also let you know when you can put the sound back on for the feel-good part. Okay, and needless to say, if you are driving, you absolutely cannot do the hypnosis portion of this talk, and you are going to have to mute the sound in a moment. And again, I'll let you know when that is. Or if you're doing anything, frankly, that requires your full attention. But I do encourage those of you that can stay, that know you can handle briefly looking back on these memories. We are not actually reliving these memories. We are simply reviewing them. It's like we are investigative reporters with that ruthless mindset of being determined to go back and look at what happened in the past for the sole purpose of understanding, okay, what is it? What was the decision I made as that child or that younger adult that is still holding me back today? Because once we know what they are, we can release and change them. All right? And there is no right or wrong way of going through this. So some of you will stay very surface and aware of your surroundings, whereas some of you, particularly if you're used to meditating or if you do hypnosis, will go into a much deeper state of relaxation and really connect with that inner awareness. And when I ask you to look back at the past memories, some of you may have very vivid recollections. Some of you may really not see much, but just have kind of an idea of what was going on for you in the past. And some of you will go to memories that you're already very familiar with as unfortunately being those, defining negative moments of your past. Some of you will go to memories that you'd completely forgotten about, or that initially you don't understand why they're coming up, but just go with it. Your subconscious is showing you that particular memory for a reason. Okay. And there will be some of you who, especially, in this atmosphere that you're in, that won't be able to get back to memories at this particular time. That's okay. Keep going with the process anyway. And here's why. Your subconscious is still listening to me. And what often happens for the people I have when I do talks like this who say, oh, I couldn't get there, nothing was coming up for me. What often happens is that when they are in bed that night or in the shower or out walking the next day, suddenly a memory will pop up because your subconscious says, hey, you wanted to know where that block came from, that fear of standing out and speaking out, or that reluctance to ask people for money, or whatever that is. Well, here, remember this, and that memory will come up for you, and you'll know exactly what to do with it because you've gone through this process. So just be patient with yourself and just look at it as a great, interesting, curious exercise. Okay. And as you look back on those memories, because most of them will not be pleasant, there may be tears, there may be emotion that comes up, and that's fine. Go ahead and let them out, let it out. Don't wallow in it because that doesn't serve you. Remember, you're that investigative reporter, or you could look at it as being the movie director of the movie of your life. You're looking back on those scenes just so you can understand how to make your audience understand why going through that particular thing is still affecting you as an adult today. Okay? But don't hold back the tears. If go ahead and let them flow. It will help you to release this. All right, so what's going to happen first is that I'm going to relax you a bit. Then we are briefly going to look back at those 3 scenes, all to do with the root cause of what's blocking you from having the success you want in either your professional or personal life. We're going to work on letting go of what you want to let go of. There will be times when I'm asking you to answer the questions in your head that you hear me ask. And there will be times when I'm going to ask you to repeat things out loud after me if you're in a situation where you can say them out loud. Otherwise, you're just saying them in your own head. All right. And then in the last 20, 25 minutes of the hypnosis, that's where the feel-good factor is, all the positive messaging. And at that point, I'll let you know that there is no more response required. And you can even take a little snooze if you want to, because you can sleep through hypnosis because your subconscious mind is always awake and listening. So it's absolutely fine to do that. So go ahead and make sure your phones are off. Make sure that you are comfortable with your neck supported if possible. Do not sit with your arms or legs crossed. So try and just be in an open position, whether you're sitting or lying, wherever you are. We are going to do this for about the next 45 minutes. And I promise it does end with a feel-good factor. So if you are driving, or if you do not want to do the regression, now is the time to go ahead and turn your sound off. And then just watch the slides. I'll let you know when you can turn it back on in about 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes time. Very good. So making yourself nice and comfortable now. What I'd like you to do is, with your eyes open, go ahead and roll your eyes up and maybe look at a fixed point on the ceiling or high up in front of you. It's as if you're looking into your own eyebrows. And as you keep your eyes open and up and glued to that real or imagined spot overhead, I'd like you to take a deep breath in and let it out. And again, eyes up and open, deep breath in and let it out. If you're feeling that blinking sensation, that's just hypnosis coming upon you. And one more time, eyes up and open, deep breath in. And as you let it out, go ahead and let your eyelids close down now. That's it, letting your eyelids close all the way down. Letting all the muscles in and around your eyelids totally relax now. They may feel a bit fluttery. That's a great sign of hypnosis, that relaxation coming upon you. And you can just totally relax your eyes. Relax all the muscles in and around your eyes. You can let that relaxation flow through you now. And your eyelids may even feel like they've been glued shut, sealed shut, locked together. And even if you could open them, you don't want to, as you sink into this wonderful state of total relaxation now. Just letting the tension go. Letting the tension go from your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. Letting the relaxation flow in. Moving that relaxation down now through your chest, your torso. Letting all the tension go, letting all the relaxation flow down through your hips, down through your legs, all the way down now to the tips of your toes. So relaxed. And I'd like you to drop your chin just a fraction, as if you're looking over a safe balcony or down a safe, comfortable flight of stairs. And you can see in front of you there 10 steps descending down to the most beautiful, wonderful, inviting, enveloping place. And as I count you down these 10 steps, with each step, you're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper still into a wonderful state of total relaxation and inner awareness. So you're moving now on to step 10. You can probably see your feet, hear your feet, feel your feet in contact with that step. You're taking step 9, going deeper into an awareness of yourself, taking step 8, as each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. Taking step 7, step 6, going deeper with every number I count. Taking step 5, halfway down to this wonderful state of total relaxation and inner awareness. Taking step 4 as you gently, calmly, easily float on over to an even deeper level. Taking step 3, going deeper and deeper. Taking step 2, and every sound, every noise, every movement in and around you or coming from me just takes you that much deeper, further flowing through you deeper and deeper into this wonderful state of relaxation and inner awareness. As I click my fingers and say the words, you just go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper, going deeper and deeper, going way down deep now. And as you go deeper, you may be remembering that when you came into this world, you came into this world with a success mindset, an inner core of unshakable confidence, self-worth, and self-belief. You knew with absolute certainty you were 100% worthy, deserving, and capable of having what you wanted and achieving what you wanted just as you were. So you didn't worry about waking the whole house in the middle of the night if you cried. When you were hungry or wanted attention, you cried because you knew you were totally worthy and deserving of having what you wanted in life when you wanted it, because you knew that you were good enough just as you were to have your needs met. You knew that you could achieve anything you wanted to achieve, succeed at anything you set your mind to. And every day, week, month, you did achieve incredible things that you previously had no idea how to do. You learned how to roll over, how to crawl, how to walk, how to talk. You didn't beat yourself up for falling down over and over again. You didn't tell yourself, I'm obviously not capable of doing this because look how many times I've fallen. You didn't tell yourself you were going to give up. You didn't worry about being judged on your ability or efforts to do it. When you were trying to learn to feed yourself, even when you had food all over your face and kept missing your mouth, You never said to yourself, I'm not going to try and do this because look at all the other people around me who've been doing it for longer and do it better. So who am I to try? It would never have occurred to you to think these things because your success mindset, your inner core of confidence, self-worth, and self-belief kept reminding you at that subconscious level that you can do this. You've got this. You are amazing just as you are. You're capable of anything you want to do. It doesn't matter how many times you make a mistake or fall or miss, just keep going. You can do it. And you did do it. Over and over again, you achieved things that weeks, even days or hours before you had no concept or ability to do because you had total confidence and belief in yourself. And this success mindset, this confidence and belief is your natural state of being. It is your birthright. It is who you really are. And your subconscious absolutely remembers what it was like to have this empowered mindset. It still exists within you. But then as you got a bit older, you started to have experiences and observe and learn from others. Some negative beliefs, doubts, fears that made you start to doubt yourself or limit yourself or create subconscious blocks within your success mindset. But the great news is that because you created those beliefs, fears, and doubts, you put them there, you absolutely have the ability to uncreate them, to identify them, remove them, and let them go forever now. So what we're going to do is go right back, all the way back to when you created these beliefs, doubts, fears that have created your success blocks and limited your ability to achieve the success you want. Your subconscious mind absolutely knows when, where, how, why you formed these blocks. So in this first scene from your past that we're going to go back to, this is a scene all to do with how, where, why, when you developed a block against the success you want. It may be a block around your ability or worthiness to earn or keep or enjoy the wealth you want in your life. It may be a block around your intelligence or capability to create or receive what you want. It may be a block around trusting or believing in outside factors, other people, other governments, or even the universe to support you in what you want to have or achieve. This scene from your past is one that caused you to have a limiting or negative belief, fear, or doubt about yourself or the world that's still holding you back today from the success you want. You're still walking around with these limiting thoughts. They're still affecting you, hurting you, holding you back, limiting you. But today is a day to let them go. So right now, on the count of 5, your brilliant mind, your extraordinary mind, your genius mind is taking you right back in time. It's like a movie of your life is being rewound. It's going backwards, backwards, backwards. That tape of your life is rolling backwards, winding backwards, playing backwards. You're becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. You're drifting right back, all the way back, even further back, going back to a scene, place, event, time, all to do with where and how and why you created, observed, or were taught these limiting thoughts. On the count of 5, you're becoming smaller. On the count of 4, years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from you. On the count of 3 and 2, you're drifting even further back, traveling back. On the count of 1, you're right back in a scene, all to do with where you formed these disempowering thoughts. As I click my fingers, just be there. Your eyes are open, your ears are open to what is happening. As I ask you some questions now, you answer every one of them silently in your head. You know the answers. So in this scene where you are now, is it daytime or nighttime? Are you inside or outside? Are you on your own or are you with others? About how old are you? And here's the only question that really matters in this scene. What are you doing, seeing, feeling, experiencing? You're seeing something, hearing something, feeling something, deciding something, all to do with where you got these limiting, restricting beliefs that still limit your success today. You're that massively curious, investigative reporter. You're viewing this scene from a distance, understanding what you're discovering about this scene, understanding how it influenced you or has limited you throughout your life until now. What did you decide about yourself or the world? And if nothing's coming up for you, or if you see the scene but you're not sure, go ahead and ask that younger version of you. So why can't we have the success we want? Ask the younger version of you that you either see in that scene, or you can just bring to mind a younger version of you. You'll know the right age to think of and ask them, do you believe we are capable, worthy, and deserving of the success we want? And listen to their answer. Very good. So looking over, around, through that scene, just learn what you need to learn, understand what there is to understand. And when you're ready, go ahead and shrink that scene down and just put a representation of it into your left hand. Give your head a light shake back and forth. Clear that scene from your head. I know this isn't easy. You're doing so well. You're not reliving these scenes. You're just reviewing them. You are looking for the fake news that you started believing in those old scenes. And you've done so well that we are going to go back to yet another scene. So once again, on the count of 5, you're going back to another vivid, vital, crucial, absolutely significant scene, all to do with how, why, where, when you developed a block to your own success. This may be a block about being visible, about promoting yourself, about being seen and heard and speaking your truth in your professional or personal life. It may be a block against authentically marketing yourself and your services. It may be a block against being comfortable in your own skin or feeling worthy and deserving of your success. It may be about your belief in yourself. It may be about your belief in others. But you're going right back to the root cause of why you play small or hide your light or hold back or don't follow through or don't fully put yourself out there. What's the belief or fear or doubt holding you back? What's the judgment, punishment, or hurt you're afraid will come down on you if you become fully visible, if you give 100%, if you go all in? And when did you form that belief? So you're in that time tunnel again, being drawn back, pulled back, taken back. That movie of your life is being rewound backwards, backwards, backwards. Back you go on the count of 5, becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. On the count of 4, years are peeling away from your body. On the count of 3 and 2, you're drifting right back to a vivid, vital, crucial, deeply significant scene, all to do with how you got this block that holds you back or holds you down or keeps you stuck. You're drifting right back now. As I click my fingers, just be there. It's like switching on your computer, the pictures coming to life in front of you. You are right in the middle of it. Your ears and eyes are open to what happened in this scene. So in this scene where you are now, is it daytime or nighttime? Are you inside or outside? Are you on your own or with anyone else? About how old are you? And here's the question that really matters. In this scene, what are you doing, seeing, feeling, experiencing that's causing you to create doubt, fear, or belief that you cannot have the success you want? As I count to 3, your ears and eyes are wide open. 1, 2, 3. You can hear what's being said. You can see what's happening. You are that investigative reporter. If you're not sure what you decided in this scene that's limiting you, go ahead and ask that younger you. If no scene's coming up for you, go ahead and bring to mind a younger version of you, 5, 6, 7 years old, maybe 12, 13. You might be in your bedroom in the house where you grow up. Go ahead and walk through that bedroom door as the adult you or as that investigative reporter and ask that younger you. So what is it you fear or doubt or believe that's holding us back from the success we want? So learn what there is to learn, understand what there is to understand, recognize that fake news from that scene. And when you've got it, just shrink that scene down, put it in your left hand with the other one. I know this is hard. You're doing really well. And we're going back to one final scene from your past. So shake your head lightly side to side, clear that previous scene, and get ready to go back to another scene. all to do with why you have a block against feeling worthy and deserving, or capable, or empowered enough, or safe to create, receive, sustain the wealth or success or happiness or fulfillment that you want in either your life or career. A belief that something about the success you want isn't safe for you, or won't bring your pleasure, or you don't deserve it, or it's available for others but not for you. What are those thoughts that block you from creating, receiving, sustaining the success you want? Where did they originate? Let's find out now. So on the count of 5, you're going back to a vivid, vital, crucial, powerful, absolutely significant scene, all to do with why you block or sabotage your success. On the count of 4, you're becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter, drifting right back to another vivid, vital, crucial, deeply significant scene that formed your block against success. The movie of your life is rewinding back, back, back. You're traveling backwards on the timeline of your life, becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter, drifting right back on the count of 3, 2, 1. Just be there. It's like you've typed into Google, why don't I have the success I want? Why isn't it available to me? Why don't I feel worthy and deserving of it? And here comes the answer, the YouTube video of that scene from your past where you developed this limiting belief. It's filling up the screen right there in front of you. You're in the middle of it. And in this scene, is it daytime or nighttime? Are you on your own or with others? About how old are you? And what is it you're doing, seeing, feeling, experiencing? I want you to hear what you heard, see what you saw, and understand what is that belief, fear, or doubt where you decided you weren't worthy or deserving of success, or it wasn't available to you, or other people can have it, but you have to struggle for it, work for it, run after it, or be punished for it. So go ahead and see this as an illuminating aha moment, a light bulb moment, looking over, around, and through that scene. Understand, what is it that happened that made you decide something that's still holding you back today? And if it's not coming up for you, just go ahead and ask that younger version of you. Okay, very good. So go ahead and shrink that scene down. Put it in your left hand. We're going to come back to those scenes. But what I want you to understand now is that those younger versions of you had no choice but to learn what you lived, to learn to live by the rules of your tribe, to make those vows of protection to insulate you from the hurt or the fear. But today you have a choice to unlearn them. Because the baby or child or younger adult in those scenes there in your left hand are not you. That was you. It was your reality, but it's definitely not your reality now. And you've carried those beliefs, fears, doubts with you for no other reason than that's how you saw or experienced the world as that naive child, teenager, or inexperienced adult. And no one came along and reminded you that that's not you anymore. And I know that every one of you has a smartphone, a flat screen TV, a laptop, and you didn't say, no, I can't have these things because I didn't have them when I was 5, because it wasn't available to me when I was 3 or 7 or maybe even 17. Yet that's exactly what you've been doing all these years when it comes to that success or that wealth or that happiness or that visibility that you want but haven't allowed yourself. You've been denying yourself having it now just because it wasn't available to you when you were 3 or 13. But that's just as absurd. It's just as absurd to deny yourself that wealth or success as it would be to deny yourself the smartphone or laptop or tablet. The fact that you didn't have it then has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to have it now. Because that helpless, dependent little child, that naive young adult is not you anymore. So I want you to look at those 3 scenes there in your left hand. Look back at those scenes. Look at those younger versions of you. And I'm going to tell you the truth. That is not you in those scenes. It was you, but it is not you anymore. So I want you to repeat after me and say these things out loud if you can. Otherwise, repeat them loudly in your head. Repeating after me as you look at those younger versions of you in those scenes. That's not me. I am not that helpless child or young adult. That will never be me again. That cannot and will not ever be me again for the rest of my abundant, successful life. Because I am a highly accomplished, experienced adult now. Look at everything I've been through in my life. Look at how much I've learned, how much I've grown, how much I've accomplished in multiple areas of my life. I am so strong and resilient that even in the midst of a global pandemic, I'm strengthening my mindset so that vulnerable, naive child is not me and will never be me again for the rest of my long, successful life. I will never again fear what that younger me feared. I will never again doubt what that younger me doubted. Because that isn't me. And you will never, ever limit me, my confidence, my self-worth, or my beliefs ever, ever again. I am fully opening myself up now to creating, receiving, and sustaining the success I want, deserve, and am fully capable of achieving now for my highest good. Very good. You're doing amazing. And what I want you to do next is gather those younger versions of you from those 3 scenes. Gather them in front of you. Merge those children or young adults together into one representative, beautiful version of that younger you. Look into their eyes, grab their hands, and tell them. And you can say this out loud as well. Imagine looking into their eyes and tell them, you are 100% good enough just as you are. You are absolutely amazing. I love and accept you just as you are. And I want you to know that you are extraordinary. You matter. You're good enough, smart enough, capable, worthy, and deserving of everything you want. Great wealth, great success, great love and friendship, great happiness and fulfillment now. And what I want you to do is imagine opening up a space in your heart now. A warm, inviting, safe, secure, totally loving, accepting space in your heart for that amazing child. It may be a place where you previously felt there was a hole or something missing. And I want you to bring in, welcome in that child to that space. Surround them with all the love, acceptance, connection, security, and support they need. And know that as you do this, as they merge into your present, they leave their past behind completely. Anything disturbing from their past, those old scenes you looked at, they can never, ever go back. You can never, ever go back. Every imprint, every impression, every thought, idea, belief, feeling, anything and everything that caused those old versions of you pain or fear or doubt are shrinking, fading, disappearing, going, and gone. As they merge into you and become part of your present and leave any pain from the past behind, those old thoughts, fears, doubts that were blocking you from your success are being swept out, vacuumed out, blown out, cleaned out. They are sinking, fading, disappearing, going, and gone. And you're going to see now how easy it is to reconnect with that success mindset that you came into this world with, and just let those old limitations go now. You no longer need them. Those old beliefs, fears, doubts you used to have are like the water from your last shower or bath. You couldn't get them back even if you wanted to. They are no longer relevant, acceptable, necessary, or even interesting for you to think about ever again, because that's not who you are anymore. Very good. So just allowing yourself now to go into an even deeper state of relaxation. There's no more response required from you. All you have to do is just let your conscious mind drift off as your subconscious listens now to my words. That's right. As you go into an even deeper state of relaxation, your subconscious recognizes the truth of my words about you. As this transition fully takes place, in whatever way feels right for you, as you turn away from that past, letting those old beliefs, fears, doubts just fade away into the past of someone you used to be a lifetime ago. As you turn towards your successful future now and bring to mind the success you want, you feel something extraordinary happening, because you are demanding, commanding, instructing your subconscious mind now to reconnect, remember, revitalize, rejuvenate, fully revive the success mindset within you. You can see, hear, feel, sense that strength, that resiliency, that confidence, determination, and belief growing inside of you once again. Feeling your voice gaining even more power and conviction, stepping back into the unlimited power you were born with to achieve whatever you set your mind to. Seeing how you change the way you stand, the way you speak, the calm, grounded confidence you project to others, even in these most challenging times. You feel your energy, your vibration, your light, your potential getting stronger and stronger now. As you shrug off that old curtain of limitation and doubt sewn from the mistaken beliefs and fears of a child you used to be a lifetime ago. As you reconnect with your authentic self, your big why, your unique gifts, unencumbered by those old ways of thinking that no longer serve you. You see yourself through the unblinkered eyes of your success mindset. You see, feel, hear, and sense your confidence, self-esteem, self-image, self-worth getting stronger and stronger now. Your resiliency, ability to pivot and adapt to this new reality getting stronger and stronger. That core of confidence and self-belief empowering you with phenomenal clarity and coping skills. as the new normal unfolds and reveals itself. You trust your intuition now. As your brain fog of any old doubts, fears, or limiting beliefs completely clears, you quickly gain clarity on how you can pivot and prevail in these changing times. You know that people are like old-fashioned photographs. They develop from the negatives. If you scan your past, you'll see that you grow the most from the challenges you've faced and triumphed over. And this is simply another great growth opportunity for you. Only instead of being a victim of a tsunami of uncertainty and fear, you get to ride this out on a wave of calm and confidence. With a clarity of vision from the top of this wave, seeing just how and where you can successfully land and make the impact you want to make on the approaching shoreline of your successful future. You utilize all of your knowledge, experience, and resources, all of the useful connections you've made. You congruently ask for the support you need, and you trust your intuition that speaks louder and louder to you now. You know that some of the most successful companies and entrepreneurs started or had their biggest growth during recessions. From Lego to Amazon to Netflix to Domino's, they all became great successes during the most challenging times. They had the mindset, the motivation, and the vision to not just survive, but thrive. To identify the need, the opportunity, and to fill it, creating millions of jobs, making an amazing impact. And you also have the mindset, the motivation, and the vision to not just survive, but thrive. Using this shift to create the success you want, the impact you want in whatever area of your life or career you want it in. You know what's important to you now. You know what's important to those you care about, and you know what's important to the people you want to serve. Facing your own mortality always brings greater clarity and vision of our true desires and needs. So you take calm, confident, determined action now to fulfill those desires and needs for you, those you care about, and those you choose to serve. You use this time of change as the perfect opportunity to step into your power, step into and own your authentic voice and mission, set the boundaries you need to set, let go of the habits, thoughts, people, and things you need to let go of. Reach out and connect with those you can help and who can help you. You use this time of change to boldly make the adjustments and take the actions you know you need to take now in order to create and receive the success you want and deserve in your personal and professional life. You realize even more now how precious life is, the incredible impact each of us can make on each other, our communities, and our planet. You have greater clarity on your values and on what you want your personal and professional life to look like, sound like, feel like, and you take the focused, confident actions you need to take now to succeed in bringing those values and those visions to life. Any petty fears, doubts, or insecurities, any old fear of judgment or failure just pales in comparison and fades away to nothing. They're all washed away in this sea of change, this uncharted territory in which there are no expectations, only a new landscape of opportunity for you to self-actualize your success. Become who you want to become. Create what you want to create and serve who you want to serve for your highest good and the highest good of all those you care about. So every day now you work with your subconscious mind in the language it understands and responds to, creating those amazing positive images of the success you want and are creating now. Surrounding yourself with those images, bringing them to mind multiple times per day, asking yourself over and over those joyous, descriptive, positive questions about what you're accomplishing now. Like, why is it so easy and effortless for me to take action and accomplish what I want now? How am I seeing so clearly the outcome I want and the actions I need to take to get there now? How is this inner core of calm, confidence, and clarity growing stronger in me every day now? And you become strong, dedicated, and determined now in making those actions you need to take familiar and those old negative thoughts and habits you've left behind unfamiliar. And regardless of what's happening around you, you keep celebrating your success every single step of the way. Because you cannot control what happens outside of you, but you can control your reaction to it and the journey you take within it. And you commit to enjoying your journey now to greater personal and professional success, and inspiring, reminding, inviting all those you care about and all those you serve to do so as well, expanding your successful impact and helping to shape and create our new positive reality now. So you connect every day to your success mindset, to that inner core of calm, confidence, clarity, and determination, getting stronger and stronger in you, driving you to take the actions you need to take to create your desired success and make the impact you know you're capable of making now, drawing upon your incredible strength, resiliency, creativity, flexibility, knowledge, and resourcefulness. And faster than you ever thought possible, you're looking at these challenging times as the time of extraordinary growth, impact, and positive change on you, your personal and professional life. So knowing that these changes in your calm, confident, success mindset, your actions, and your life very quickly aren't just what you do, they are who you are now, taking place for your highest good and the highest good of all those you love and serve. Knowing it, believing it, receiving it, living it, achieving it. On my count, you can come back to your full awareness, bringing with you a greater sense of calm, confidence, and clarity, and a greater certainty that from this moment forward, You are creating and receiving the success you want, are fully capable and deserving of. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. So take a moment, stretch, take a drink of water, just reorient yourself to where you are. I know that was intense and you've done incredibly well with it. Very good. So I know it's just after 9 and we are going to wrap up, but I just wanted to very quickly mention a few things. So first of all, as we learned today, the subconscious mind needs repetition in order to take on board that success mindset. And the easiest way for you to do that is to listen to a hypnosis track while you sleep. So you can use it to fall asleep to at night, or as your snooze button in the morning, or as a well-deserved relaxation break during the day. So if you would like a copy of that hypnosis track I just did, but it will be less than 30 minutes. It will only be the second half, the feel-good factor. Or if you want a copy of the slides that give you the rules of the mind and how to work with them in order to take control of your subconscious, then just send me an email at Barbara, Barbara, at successhypno.coach. And I'll send you a copy of the slides and a link to the hypnosis track. It's my gift to you for sticking with me on this journey today. And you should listen to it, if possible, every day or evening for the next month, because that will really enable you to make those new neural pathways in your brain that focus on that positive belief system and implement it for you. And if this really resonated with you and you want to shortcut the whole process of bringing your subconscious fully in line with your goals and really empower yourself with that strength and resilience and confidence to not just survive, but thrive in these challenging times, then I am offering a special package to work with me one-on-one, so that in just 4 sessions, we will get total clarity on what it is you want to change or improve. We'll identify what those subconscious blocks are holding you back from that. We will remove them and replace them with that empowered success mindset that is absolutely focused on your specific goal. And we will create your success plan in order to get there. So you have the details of that package. Oops. Hold on. Oh, let's go back for a minute here. My computer is going just a little crazy. There we are. Okay. So you have the details of the package in the slide. It gives you what's going to happen during those 4 sessions. You will get your very own bespoke hypnosis track that is laser focused on the belief system you want and the success you want to have in whatever area of your life that is. And I'm doing that package of those 4 sessions for just $297. It's usually much more than that. If you're in a difficult situation at the moment because of the pandemic, talk to me about payment plans or deferred payment. I'm very happy to work with you because I want you to be at the best of your ability and the best success mindset for you to create that success and be able to adapt and benefit from this new reality. Okay, so reach out to me. I'm happy to have a free discussion about whether this is right for you. And I am going to go ahead and stay on for any questions that you have. But for those of you that want to go, I just want to say thank you so much for being on this very intense journey with me. And you absolutely can take control of your subconscious, and you absolutely, even in these challenging times, can have that success that you want. So thank you so much. And I'm going to just have a look now. Stop sharing that and go ahead and write in any questions or comments to the chat if you'd like. Thank you so much for the compliments. I'm so glad you got so much out of that. I will turn off the hypnotic music now in case it's making you sleepy. Oh, good. I'm glad to see someone's commenting that was unexpected. And it's really interesting sometimes what comes up when we look back at the past and suddenly realize what the connections are between those things that happened to us, those decisions we made, and how they really are still playing such a role in our current lives. But once you know that, then you can absolutely work to change it. And Kevin, you're asking if there was only 2 that you went back to. That's absolutely fine. 2, 1, anything that came up for you will be really a gift that you now realize is there and can work on to release and overcome. And yes, so I'm going to type in the email, Sue. Nice to hear from you. It's been ages, so let me. Okay, so there's the email address. So just go ahead, let me know if you want the slides, if you want the hypnosis track that you can download and listen to, and if you want to have that discussion about taking this further and working one-on-one together so that you can really fast track that success. Oh, really interesting. Mine had so many colors and images floating around, so many memories. And it's true, when you start to look back, sometimes it can be overwhelming because, your subconscious says, oh, finally we get to release some of this stuff. And, there's this and this and that, but they'll all be related on similar themes. And so, of course, you can go back and do this again, and it will start to become more focused and apparent what those specific blocks are that you can now release, let go of, and overcome. I'll give it just another minute in case anyone's typing, but I absolutely do want to thank all of you for all of your feedback. Needless to say, I love doing what I do, and I hope that for all of you, I know many of you, of course, do as well. Some of you are on the way to that, and I would love to help you get there if I can. You're all so welcome. It's so good to see some of you I haven't spoken to in ages. So I hope you are all safe and well, as are your loved ones. I'm sending you out a big virtual distancing hug. I'm not sure how we do that these days, but I hope you're receiving it from me. Oh, thanks, Maggie. Hopefully, I will at some point see you in person and be able to give you a real one once this is all over. All right, very good. Well, I look forward to hearing from you on the email, and I wish you all a very safe and healthy evening, and in, of course, the weeks and months to come. Thank you so much, and have a good afternoon or good night. Yes, whoever asked the question, that is correct. Barbara at successhypno.coach. Okay, have a wonderful evening.